On Tuesday, I spoke to a Canadian doctor. On Wednesday, he left for Egypt. And soon he'll be on his way to the Rafah border crossing, where he and thousands of other people are marching to try to break Israel's siege on Gaza. Yipeng Ge is a true helper. He's been to Gaza before, where he provided aid and medical care. And now he's heading back to the border to try to help again. Because international journalists can't enter Gaza, doctors like Yipeng are some of the only international voices who are bearing witness to what Palestinian journalists have been documenting every day. And on Tuesday, I asked him what he saw last time he entered Gaza. Here's what he told me.
When I was moving and driving up with my team to the Rafah border crossing, you could see trucks, like kilometers upon kilometers of trucks that are just waiting to be let in, and Israel denies these trucks systematically to let in food, water, fuel, medical supplies. Once I got in, though, and it was a very lengthy kind of administratively slow process, and once we finally got into the other side, immediately it feels like another world. And I've had other colleagues describe it as post-apocalyptic. Like parts of Gaza have been completely flattened. There are people who previously lived there who go back and walk around, and you don't even recognize, there's no streets anymore. So there's no landmarks, there's no streets. So it's completely unrecognizable. And it feels like another world, because there's just nothing that I think compares to this kind of level of destruction with warfare that I don't think we've seen before, like so concentrated warfare on such a small piece of land. And when we finally got to the hospital, the Emirati maternity hospital in central Rafah, where we stayed the first night, we were immediately met with so much gratitude and warmth, despite how little they had. And immediately, what the Palestinian healthcare workers that greeted us, what they did was give us food and water, even though we actually came prepared with our own supply to be self-sufficient. What they wanted to do was share a meal together, because this is how you greet people, how you treat people, with respect and dignity and kindness. But the humanity of these Palestinian healthcare workers to do this when now they have so very little, and they had so very little then as well. It's really an indescribable kind of situation. And I only finished my training in family medicine around 2.5 years ago, but so many others who I've encountered and now worked with and befriended, who have worked in many other conflict and war-torn parts of the world, say that this is like a standalone experience, because I think so many of us have not actually ever worked in a genocide.
I spoke with Yipeng for over 30 minutes, and it was probably one of the most important interviews I have ever been lucky enough to be able to do. Because of that, I wanted to devote my shorter video today to not only highlighting that conversation, but to covering the march that he's going on. The Global March to Gaza describes itself as a movement guided by justice, human dignity, and peace. In a recent update on their website, they shared this message, quote, "People in Gaza are starving while trucks full of food are blocked. They are dying while the world negotiates. Gaza has no time left. This is why we march." The marchers are not waiting for permission to care. They are moving together. Yipeng is expecting to leave for the Rafah crossing soon, and he and I are keeping in touch as much as we can. I'll keep you posted, and I'm sure that he and many others will too. But in the meantime, you can watch my full interview with Yipeng on YouTube, on Patreon, on Substack. It's available for free everywhere. More than anything, let's keep our eyes on these marchers and hope that the pressure they're placing on governments around the world succeeds in breaking this siege and saving lives. Because people are starving right now, and the food that they need is right on the other side of this crossing. What do you think of all this?